Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boys, Steve Straza, Sean McLaughlin. It's the Flow Show. Did you miss us? It's been a few weeks. We had a holiday. We were all traveling. It's been a minute. Straza, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, Sean. How are you?
I am well. I am well. I'm excited to see what you got for us today. For those of you who've never seen the Flow Show or it's been a while, what we do here is me and Straza kind of work through our process of how we come up with options trades. Straza will share some setups that he likes. I'll look into them, see if there's an options play. Sometimes there is. Oftentimes there is. Sometimes there's not. We just because we can take swings at the plate doesn't mean we always have to. But this is an opportunity for you to just kind of, maybe learn something from the way we think about options trades and setups. Hey, if it's educational and you get a great trade idea out of it, then we're all winners here. So Straza, what's on your mind today? I saw the morning show. I saw you guys talk about Bitcoin. I have a
Did you?
feeling you're going to go in that direction.
Well, did you hear
No?
what Brian Shannon said?
I heard that he was calling that this is the breakout.
So, all right, let's just go straight to Bitcoin. What if, yeah, Brian said he thinks we're getting ready to go. What does he mean by that? This little consolidation here, which is really not a little consolidation anymore. I mean, Sean, this has been going on for some time. So we first, made an attempt to break out at these new all-time highs in March. Been sideways ever since. Could draw this in a number of different ways. My drawing tool were to work here. Okay. So when we zoom out, you can see the structure. It's a multi-year range. So we're dealing with a multi-month range within a multi-year range. This is what Brian was really saying was maybe ready to go. Let's just zoom in. See kind of how we can get an idea for if it's time to leave the station for Bitcoin or not. I'm just dropping VWAPs all over this chart, and we're above every single one of them, right? So you could use all these pivot highs here. I think you want to see a decisive resolution from this little multi-week coil, but then you want that to turn into a decisive resolution from this multi-month coil. And then as these things happen, what you'll also be getting is a resolution from the multi-year range that I just zoomed out and showed. So I think when this move happens, it's going to be extremely powerful. It's going to be something you're going to want to be involved in, right? We have many different vehicles. We could talk about the Bitcoin miners. We could talk about a MicroStrategy. We could talk about Coinbase. But one that we've never talked about yet, because we've been over all of those that I just named, right? We've never
Yep.
really discussed IBIT or how to play IBIT through the options market. So this is now a preferred spot Bitcoin vehicle. This is the BlackRock one. So it'll look really similar to Bitcoin itself, but it's only been trading obviously since January. What if we were to, try to gain exposure to Bitcoin through the options market through IBIT?
I have bad news for you, my friend. IBIT has no options.
Still?
Still.
How could that be?
I mean, unless someone else has access that I don't, I'm looking on two trading platforms right now. I use both Thinkorswim and Tasty Trade, and both of them are telling me there are no options for this.
That's kind of terrible.
I,
So
I agree. I was just getting excited there for a second. I'm like, oh, are we ready? Can we finally trade this? And nope, nope.
does GBTC still not have options, John?
Let's
Or
see.
or GBTC should have options, I believe.
Believe
Or
it does.
maybe they
No,
don't
it does has
anymore.
no options.
There's got to be some sort of a rule. I'm sure they're telling us in the chat right now that they're not allowing options to be traded on these spot Bitcoin vehicles yet. Otherwise, there would be, right?
Why do they hate us? Why do the options people hate us? Come on, give us some
So,
new toys to play with.
all right, so then forget it. Listen, I think watching Bitcoin closely this week and trying to participate in an upside resolution of all of these ranges uh, is a great move. But I think we've also talked plenty about Bitcoin miners and things like Coinbase.
Okay,
Uh,
well, someone in the chat just mentioned BITO has options, but that setup doesn't look like the rest. BITO.
it must not be a spot ETF.
It's the ProShares Bitcoin Strategy ETF. So yeah,
Yeah, they're using futures. See,
yeah.
front month futures. So that's a bummer. Listen, if you
Yeah.
want a levered vehicle that's going to more or less follow the price of Bitcoin in the Bitcoin chart, this is really the best one still. It's MicroStrategy. So I
Still
think,
MicroStrategy. Yep.
yeah. And then Coinbase looks great too. Like Coinbase has been holding in really well. If you drop VWAPs all over here, like I have one here from the year-to-date highs, I think we're getting ready to make a move. So if you'd like, we can move on though from the crypto conversation. We have short
Well,
squeeze.
let's hold on. Let's
Yeah.
stick to that for 1 second because up until the ETFs got listed on Bitcoin, we used to talk about MicroStrategy being the purest equity play on Bitcoin. And I'm wondering, after what we saw, I mean, didn't we recently see where the premium in the MicroStrategy was just so divorced from the value of the actual Bitcoin holdings? Like there was like a big divergence between what it's actually worth and whatever.
Yeah,
And
there's a large premium from
right.
basically their net
And
Bitcoin.
so if that's the case, and if that's still the case,
Mhm.
do you think maybe Coinbase is a better pure play on Bitcoin?
I think Coinbase is the better play right now, but for a different reason. I think we're middle innings of this crypto bull market, and I think participation has been unusually thin up until now. And I think you could have said similar things about the stock market rally and the bull market for equities last year. Participation unusually thin. So betting on a broadening of that participation in both markets, I think makes sense at this point in the cycle. If we're going to do that and we say, okay, in a world where more than just Bitcoin is working, right, but all the altcoins are working too, MicroStrategy is not going to join in that upside. They are tied to Bitcoin and Bitcoin only. Coinbase would be the play in a world where participation is broadening in
Yeah.
crypto in general. Things like Ethereum and Solana are kind of blowing up, and everybody's trading those. Coinbase, big winner.
And look, we know that if Bitcoin has the big breakout that the entire world is waiting for, right? It's like the most watched breakout. Everyone in the world who has any interest whatsoever in Bitcoin is waiting for that $100,000 roll, right? We're all watching for it. If that happens, you have to believe that it ain't just going to be Bitcoin that's ripping. There's going to be a lot of things in the space ripping. And as you said, Coinbase plays well into that.
Totally agree. And I think you could draw this in a couple different ways right now.
All right. Well, with that said, Straza,
Yeah.
I know you didn't ask for it, but I
Yep.
jumped ahead. I'm looking at a trade in options in Coinbase.
Hell yeah.
And if I'm looking out at October options, which I mean, maybe we should even look in. No, I mean, forget the election. I don't care about the election. I'm not thinking about this as an election trade at all. But if we look out to October, which gives us plenty of time to, I mean, I think we all think that Bitcoin is likely to break out sometime this summer. We don't know when. It could happen tomorrow. It could happen today and Brian Shannon could become the greatest hero of all time.
Oh yeah.
But it might happen a month or two from now. So if we look into October, and I'm looking at a 300 looking at this 300 strike calls, which is just above this previous high from a few months ago, and doing a call spread. So buy the 300s, sell the 350s. We could buy that right now for under $8. I feel like that's a really good price, a good possible, we can get 4-to-1 reward if the thing rips.
I think that's a great price because this is a $230 stock. So
Yeah. I mean, 300 feels far away, but look, in the Bitcoin world, in the crypto world, nothing's far away if there's a bull market happening, right?
so I'm a freak, and everything I want to do these days ends in reversal and begins in risk. Why does it make more sense? Seriously, let's entertain me. Why should I not do a risk reversal for this trade and do a bull call spread instead?
Well, I mean, you would do the risk reversal if you wanted unlimited upside, right? If you wanted the potential for unlimited upside, and you were comfortable with the risk. I mean, look, Coinbase is a trusted name in a space that has no trust, right?
Yeah.
That said, a name like Coinbase is one government headline away from a 50% gap down.
They get a Wells notice tomorrow. I'm going to really regret being naked short puts, right?
Right. So that's why I would stay away from a naked put play. I'm not saying it can't work. It could probably work and it would do fantastic for you if this thing breaks out. But you could be down huge overnight and nothing you can do about it. And I don't like that. That's not for me.
So bull call spread. This thing falls off a cliff tomorrow. Where's my downside limited to?
I mean, like I said, we could buy this for about $8 right now. The price is moving around, but you could buy for about eight. Let's say no more than 850 right now. That's your max risk in a worst case scenario. But I think the reality is, Straza, if this thing breaks 200, I don't think we want this anymore.
No.
And if it gets there, we could probably sell the spread for at least, maybe half of what we bought it for today. If that happens quickly, or if it happens in the next, month. I don't think we would take that big of a loss, maybe 50%, which, 50% loss sounds like a big loss, but not in options and not when you're sizing your positions in a way that 100% loss is no big deal, right? So I would do it, and this is kind of the way I've been doing it with a lot of my trades lately, is I would have two stops. I would, I definitely would not want to be at below 200. Maybe I could be even tighter, maybe like 205. Below 205, I don't like it. But also, if the spread loses half its value, that's my other exit, right? I don't want to lose more than half if I can help it. Of course, I'll be comfortable. I'll be totally fine if I lose everything. I'll size it that way. But if we're down 50%, that's my exit. What do you think?
I would even qualify this one as I love it and I'll probably be involved. I would want to wait. If you flip it back to my chart quick, Gene, I would want to wait until this afternoon and enter if Coinbase is above this VWAP, right? You don't want some sort of short-term failure here in this little range, Sean. Feel me?
Yeah, I feel you.
Like we've been kind of coiling up here, battling this VWAP. We were above it for a couple days. It looked good, looked like ready to go. I thought today was going to be the move. We settle in down here, end up with some sort of red candle today, moving back beneath this VWAP back into this old little channel here. I like it a lot less, and I'll probably wait on it.
So interesting that we're talking all this VWAP and Brian Shannon stuff today, because I've had Brian Shannon's new book on my bookshelf for months. I bought it a long time ago, just haven't gotten around to reading it. My apologies, Brian, you're my buddy. But I finally cracked it the end of last week, and I read it a little bit this weekend, and I read a little bit last night before I went to bed. And so it's interesting that we're talking about all this VWAP stuff. And I'm looking at that chart and hearing exactly what you're saying. And what Brian says over and over in that book is you want to buy off the test of the VWAP, right? You want it to come down to the VWAP, and then you want to see it going back up, and that's when you buy it, not when it's coming into it like it is right now.
He would be proud of me, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he would. So, yeah, I like it. Let's put this on ice. Let's keep an eye on it. We may do this today, and if not today, maybe tomorrow. Yeah. I like this trade. And look, if this thing pops $5 tomorrow, we're not going to pay that much more for the spread. We have until October. It's still sufficiently far away now. I mean, if you have to pay 5 or 10 or 20 cents more later, that's okay. You're paying 20 cents for further proof that your timing is better, and that's what you want.
And also think about it, if Bitcoin is going to break out of these ranges that we just discussed and rally onto this $100,000 roll that you keep talking about, this trade's going to work really well, and you're not going to look back worried about entering $5 later, right?
Right. No, that's a really good point. And because I get this question a lot in my amongst the members of All Star Options. We have a live chat room, and people can engage with me every day there. And I get a question a lot, like, "Oh, I saw that you published a trade, yesterday, and you paid $5 for it, and now it's at 525. Am I chasing? Should I wait?" And I tell people, I say, well, you could wait, but we're in this trade. We paid $5, and if we're right, we're going to earn $30 on it. Are you really going to be that pissed that you paid an extra 25 cents on a trade that you earned $30 on? You got to take it all into consideration. And so, yeah.
You could calculate it right off the cost basis there. Like that slippage would be about 5%. If we're talking about a winner being 2, 3, 4, 5x, 5% is just not material, right? If we're talking about 15% winner or 20% winner, then yes. But your option strategy is typically when you win, that reward is very high.
Right. Hey, Gene, flip to my screen real quick. We'll show my ugly charts here. I just want to show a P&L graph for the trade that we're talking about here. So if you got my screen up now, we're looking at the bull call spread in Coinbase in October options. So we are currently trading right around here, 230. Okay. This purple line shows how the P&L would trend today. If Coinbase were to rip up to $300 today, very unlikely. I'm not saying that's going to happen. But if that were to happen, we'd be sitting on approximately $825 in profit if that happened today, right? And these are approximate values. These are not set in stone. But you can see here that if we're into this thing and we're getting into September and October and Coinbase hasn't stopped this out, but neither has it gotten up above 300, this blue line is what the P&L of this position would be on expiration day, in this case, October 18th. So we need Coinbase to get up above 308 at minimum for us to be guaranteed a profit in this trade. And because it's a call spread, our risks are defined, right? The most we could lose is what we pay today. In this case, it looks like the price right now, if I wanted to buy it right now, I could probably get it for about $835. That's the most I could lose. But the flip side of that is because there's a spread, you can see up here, once we get above our short strike, the 350, then our gains are capped. We can't earn any more above 350. But that's the price we pay for positioning ourselves in a bullish bet at a cheaper price. It's only costing us $835. If I were just to buy the 300 calls and just have, unlimited upside, those 300 calls by themselves are costing almost $25. So $2,500 for one call contract. You could do that. Look, if you have a large account, fine, go for it. The implied volatility is not too terrible right now in Coinbase. Not as cheap as I would like it to be if I was buying a straight call, but you could do it and you could pay almost $25 for that call and have unlimited upside. But if you're wrong, you're going to lose a lot more than I'm going to lose. That's the trade-off with a call spread. And I like to do call spreads, especially in stocks that are high priced like this. I mean, it's over a $200 stock. I also like to do call spreads when volatility is high. But that's how I would play it, Straza. I would do the bull call spread.
It's really both in this case, which is what's making it so expensive to just go long calls.
Yeah.
Right? It's a high price stock and it's high volatility also.
So, all right, another thing I learned from Brian Chan in his book about the AV-WAP is that, yes, we could calculate what the average volume weighted average price, the anchored volume weighted average price is at any point in time. We can know to the penny what that price is. But just because we know what that penny is doesn't mean the second we're a penny above it, it's time to buy. He calls those levels of interest. And we want to see Coinbase trade to and through that VWAP. And if it's above there, that gives us confidence that our timing is good and it's time to go. What do you say? What do you think?
Yeah, and if you want confirmation, just use the pivot highs from late May. Drew it out, 245, 246.
So, Straza, I'm going to do something I don't do very often today. I'm going to publish a piece on this trade, right? I'm going to talk about how we're going to trade it, how we're managing risk. I'm going to do the whole details like I always do in every blog post. However, I'm going to say, I'm not buying it right now. I'm buying it if it breaks a level. Yeah. I never do that, Straza. I'm always like, okay, I got in, we're doing it. But this one, we say, wait for your moment, be patient. It'll be worth it to wait.
Because again, why this emphasis on the VWAP? What it's also telling us, right? Because this is somewhat of a tactical trade. We're betting on a resolution. We want it to happen sooner rather than later, and then we want a swift leg higher. If we're below the VWAP, sellers are still in control of the short-term trend. Above the VWAP, what that really tells us is buyers are back in control. We only want this trade on our books if the buyers are in control. That's why it makes sense to wait.
100% agree. So I think, what's the level, Straz? You think like above 240 is where we want to get involved? Is that the number you think?
I think 240 is fine because you're $8 above the VWAP at that point. It's really this range between 230 and 240. Ultimately, you could use that pivot high from late May, 245. I think 240, yeah, you're above the VWAP.
Yeah, there you have it, folks. Me and Straza are patiently waiting our entry. Above 240, we love Coinbase. We love it with a call spread in October. I mean, look, because we're waiting, we don't know what that call spread will cost us, but I imagine we could probably get it for under $10. I love it under $10. Anything more than $10, I might, patiently work my order. But under $10, I think it's a trade all day. We could potentially make this spread could potentially be worth 50. So if we paid 10 and we can potentially earn 50 on it later on, that's a great trade.
And if we're in it at the end of today, if it's above 240, right? Just to be clear, why we like this. How did we get here? Where did we start? We started with this chart with Bitcoin. If Coinbase is above 240 today, Bitcoin's also above its short-term VWAP here, and it's looking more and more likely that this range is going, right? So that was really the original thesis. So if coin's above the VWAP, Bitcoin, which is also right there on its VWAP from the May high, it's probably looking good too. Probably ready to leave the station, leg higher.
Awesome. All right, Stress. This was a great exercise. I think we covered a lot of topics, and we dropped some extra knowledge. We dropped our Brian Shannon AV knowledge on people. Man, look at us! Look at us providing value.
You made fun of me a little bit off air about how I was probably going to try to pitch you some sort of Bitcoin stocks, and you pitched it to yourself.
Well, specifically, I was like, don't bring me another Bitcoin miner trade. We've been burned so many times on those things. I'm so snake bitten right now. So I'm glad. So we're not doing that. So that's good.
No.
All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in. This has been the Flow Show. We will be back next week. Neither of us are traveling, so look forward to it next week. In the meantime, we'll catch you on the morning show tomorrow morning. Have a great trading day. We'll talk to you again soon.
Happy Monday.
Right on.